And so it is, and so it is. Thank you, Gino. Come on in, grab a seat. Thanks for being here. My name is Reverend Libby O'Day, and this morning we're talking about harmony. So this month, which is the equinox, we're looking at balance. It's all about balance. It's that time of the year when the light and the dark balance each other out, when there's as much day as there is night. And so this calls us to look at balance within our own lives. In today's world, there's so much going on that it's hard to find the balance. Often, we have become such worker bees in the world that we've forgotten how to actually be. And then those of us that get into retirement are utterly baffled. We're like, what do I do now? And we find this social whirlwind and we start to create all these activities for ourselves. And it's because the thought of just beingness itself seems to be foreign. So this month we are exploring the whole concept of beingness and finding balance. And within that, I'm choosing to talk about harmony this morning. Because harmony is an aspect of balance. So I went to Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of Science of Mind, and I was really looking at what does he have to say about harmony. And he has some very profound thoughts. But to prepare you for those thoughts, I'm going to give you a little background in the Science of Mind. And the thing I want to talk about is something we call the law. And it is, for me, one of the hardest concepts I had to learn was, what is the law? What is he talking about? And biblically, which is the background for a lot of new thought, it comes out of the Christian era of the late 1800s, the 19th century, when people were beginning to discover mental science, is what they call it. And so the law is like the law of gravity or other scientific laws. It's not a law that's being represented in that stern Christian sense of the law of the Lord. I don't know if any of you heard that in your religious upbringing as a child, but it pulls up a picture for me personally of this old man on a throne or some kind of angel who's got a book, and it's kind of like Santa Claus, you know, who did good and who didn't, that kind of stuff. And that just puts up this very punitive and also immature picture about what is the law, and am I breaking the law? You know, that kind of idea. Well, in Science of Mind, the law is like a scientific principle. You can never break the law. The law is always operating. And so let me share with you what he means by that. It is the law of consciousness. And a very interesting thing has happened. Quantum science backs up this law of consciousness. And it talks about how, in quantum science, they talk about how the consciousness of the scientists themselves, while doing their experiment, influences the outcome of the experiment. So consciousness creates. At a fundamental, probably the most fundamental level, the quantum level, which some scientists call spooky science. Because it gets into that area where it's incomprehensible and it begins to be like spirituality itself. So what is this law of consciousness? Well, how many of you are familiar with the law of attraction? Thank you, the secret made this known to everybody, and here it is, it's no longer a secret, it's right out there in front. And it's the idea that our thoughts are creating this whole field of belief that we live in, our whole mental atmosphere, and we're experiencing everything in our lives through the filter of that spiritual atmosphere, of that belief system, of what our predominant thoughts are. So in a way, that's what the law is. Ernest Holmes calls it the creative medium. But that, to me, also sets up a slightly false picture, because it makes me think that there is an outer medium, kind of gel-like, that takes the form of whatever I'm thinking, and it's not that at all. It's literally a property of consciousness itself. Consciousness is the creative force of the universe. We individualize consciousness, but it's our belief that consciousness is actually one. It is a unified whole, and each one of us is like a portal opening up to that one presence. We are using the consciousness of the universe to think, feel, and experience. And what we personally think, feel, and experience is created in our minds. It's out pictured, as we say. So that's what they mean by the law. It's a property of consciousness, and it's also subjective. Subjective means it is subject to the conscious thought. And so we say, change your thinking and you can change your life. And that makes it sound incredibly easy. And a lot of us go, wait a minute, that's too good to be true. I just start thinking new thoughts and I'm going to have a new life? Yes, you are. But it might take a long time, because it's taken you a long time to get this feel of subjective, subconscious awareness that we have. All the experiences we have ever had have contributed to our subconscious. And the subconscious is subjective to the conscious mind. So let's say we've got a really easy one here. We've got some lack of limitation going on in our lives. You know, this feeling or thought that no matter what we do, there's never enough for us somehow. If there's any of that going on in a person's thought, changing it can seem easy. You know, there's lots of wonderful prescriptions for how to change that, but very often we have to go deep inside and heal some old belief patterns from our past. And those belief patterns can be based on what happened to us before we were 3 years old. What was our relationship with our parents or our caretakers like? What was our relationship with our siblings like? Did somebody always get more than we did? You know, this kind of thing, which goes directly into the subconscious and is now operating without our awareness. However, and this is what I wanted to prepare you for, Ernest Holmes has something powerful to say about how to transform your entire field of consciousness. It's love. It is love. So here's one of the things that when we get deep into science of mind studies, like we've got practitioners who take these studies for years and really develop this awareness within themselves, one of the things we learn is that love is the fulfillment of the law. Did you not hear that in training? Love is the fulfillment of the law. Now, what does that mean? I've spent 40 years thinking about this, because I've been at this for that long. I actually got licensed as a practitioner 40 years ago, in 1984. And so, I'm like, what the heck is this stuff? I mean, over and over again. And the thing that I've come to realize is it's just like anything in form. all form is moving, isn't it? It only appears to be stationary. It's actually energy signatures, and the molecules are vibrating, and everything is in motion. And what causes things to come to a state of balance and stability and harmony? And what happens when they do? It's like the entire universe is moving towards an objective. It's going in a certain direction. And what is that direction? According to most spiritual philosophies, that direction is the realization of the truth of our being. And that is for each and every one of us, not just humans, but everything that exists is moving to this place of awareness, of recognizing their oneness in the wholeness. And so that's the completion. All the God qualities are the completion point. And so if we take love, and does everybody agree that love is a quality of God? So here's this God quality. Over and over again, different traditions experience God as love. Mystics experience God as love. So this is an end point for us. And what does love do then? It has a way of harmonizing everything. So if there is a situation in your life where you feel it's out of balance, where you feel some kind of struggle or some kind of difficulty, see if you can get quiet and bring love to it. Now, how do we do that? I think the first step is acceptance. So first, accept what is. Stop resisting the situation. Stop resisting the circumstance, no matter how unpleasant it is. First thing we've got to do is accept it. Yes, it's happening. That's what's going on. This is occurring. Now I've freed up a lot of energy because I'm not fighting it anymore. Okay, so this is what's up. And as I breathe in and relax into it, guess what happens? 9 times out of 10, unless I'm in an absolute snit fit, when I've come to a place of acceptance, of real acceptance, I begin to see possibilities in the circumstance and situation that I didn't see before. And so I can soften up, I can loosen up, and I can begin to get that childlike curiosity that's able to explore it and say, how is this for me? How is this for me instead of against me? You know, that resistance is because we think it's against us. But what if it's actually for us? And it is our messenger. It's our angel. Whatever that circumstance or situation is that seemed difficult, obstructive, unpleasant, whatever we want to call it. So see, acceptance begins to open us up to be in a new relationship with whatever the situation is. Once we're there, we can begin to see other possibilities. And then we can begin to soften in love. Now I'm telling you my own process. Your process to get there may be different. And that would be awesome. But watch and monitor yourself and see, how do I do that? How do I move out of an adversarial role with life and into a partner with life? Where I'm on board and I'm all for it. What's the apparatus for me? What's my process? How do I do that? So this is my process, and I'm offering it because that's all I've got to offer, is my own experience. And through my experience, one of the things I've discovered then is as I begin to soften, I remember that life is love. God is love. Spirit is love. The whole universe is here to support us, myself included. And if that's the case, I can let go, I can relax, and I can begin to feel love. And when that really happens, everything changes. Everything transforms. The situation now is exquisite and beautiful. How many of you have had a traumatic experience in life, and then years later you were able to look back and say, oh, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me? It's tough, but we've gotten there. This is how to collapse the time and make it happen sooner. Love harmonizes everything. So I want to read to you what Ernest Holmes has to say about that. This comes out of this wonderful book that I read almost every day. It's called 365 Science of Mind, A Year of Daily Wisdom with Ernest Holmes. And here's this one, this comes from the 24th of August. And I just love everything he has to say. So he says, the essence of love expresses through me as harmony. The essence of love expresses through me as harmony. So let that happen for you. Begin to develop your ability to let love harmonize through you. And then he quotes the Bible, saying, the law of the Lord is perfect. And I don't know about you, but immediately I get triggered, and I gotta back down and think about that. Okay, the law of the Lord is perfect. Well, the law of consciousness is perfect. It is always a direct reflection of what we are feeling, thinking, and holding in this moment as our consciousness. So the law is perfect, always. You are made perfect in the law when you enter into conscious communion with love. Conscious communion with love. So this needs to be a daily practice. How do I open my heart in love? How can I feel that and experience that? You know, for a lot of folks, it happens in nature. We go outside, we experience a hike, and it's exquisite. Or a bike ride, or surfing, or swimming, whatever this activity is, when we get involved in nature, this incredible love of life can begin to flow through us, and we're fully alive, and everything is dynamically awake and aware and participating in life with us and through us in that moment. So we are made perfect in communion with love. It is only through love that the law can fulfill itself in your experience. So remember what I was saying about how the entire creation is in movement and it's reaching towards a still point? If we want to take the modern science viewpoint of the Big Bang, you could say there was this explosion and now we're all trying to get back to that still point, everything in the universe. Well, what is the fulfillment? What creates that center, the eye of the storm for us, that place of balance and harmony within? It's love. So you want to collapse it quick? You want to bring about the best result you can get quick? Get in love. Move into love. Let love be your practice. And I love what Rumi has to say about this. He says, let what you love be what you do. And I don't think he means that as a profession. You know, a lot of us took that as, oh, let me figure out what I love and we'll do it, because we're such human doings. No, guys, stop. Back up, stop. Let what you love in your heart, what brings you love, what opens up that arena of love within you, which floods you with that. Let that be more and more of what you give yourself to in life, of what you entertain, of how you elevate your spirit daily, on a daily basis. He says, you can never make the most perfect use of the law unless That use is motivated by love. Motivated by love. So I don't know about you, but my personality has a part of itself which likes to be motivated by being right. I can tell you how well that works. No, it's pretty miserable. Even inside my head, I don't like listening to that voice. So how do I shift that out of being motivated by love? You know? Take a deep breath, get centered in my belly again, feel the presence. I know that love is the truth of everything. So this love, says Ernest Holmes, is more than a sentiment. It is a deep sense of the underlying unity, beauty, and majesty of all life. So what brings us into that sense of the majesty of life? The beauty of life? The extraordinary experience of love. And one of the things I like to remember is that life has already given us everything. We're given the full consciousness with which to create anything our heart desires. And it's up to us. So here Ernest Holmes now has a little prayer for us. And he loves sometimes to end these little talks that he gives with a prayer. And you know, I think it's a wonderful way to do it because we practice it in consciousness. So I'm going to invite you to sit back and close your eyes for a moment and let my words be your words. Today, I bestow the essence of love upon everything. Everyone is lovely to me. My soul meets the soul of the universe in everyone. This love is a healing power, touching everything into wholeness. This love is a healing power. Let that healing power touch any area of your body where you might be experiencing discomfort or a chronic condition. And it's bringing me deeply into wholeness. It's healing the wounds of experience with its divine balm. So breathe that in, allow that sense of love to move into you. It is healing your past experience. It is bringing you into the wholeness of this now moment. And say to yourself, I know that this love essence is the very substance of life itself. It's the creative principle in back of everything. It's flowing through my entire being, spiritual, mental, and physical. It flows in transcendent loveliness into my world of thought, into my world of form, ever renewing, vitalizing, and bringing joy. Harmony and blessings are flowing through me to all. And so it is. So as you move forward into your week this week, I invite you to make a practice of love. If you find yourself waking up a little grumpy, grab your favorite beverage, sit somewhere for a moment that brings you joy, and let yourself just love you. Breathe in love. Breathe out love to everything around you. And as they say, count those blessings. And you will see that the harmony and the balance of life are restored. And now I'd like to introduce Matthew Graves. He comes to us today from a local friend, and we are just thrilled to have him with us. Do you need the microphone?